Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with a chapter from Unit 6 of 12th standard. Unit 6 is reproduction, and in this unit you will study reproduction in plants as well as reproduction in human. In this chapter we will be doing the details of reproduction in plants. In Unit 6, overall there are 4 chapters. First chapter is reproduction in organisms. Second chapter is reproduction in plants. Third chapter is human reproduction. And fourth chapter is reproductive health. In this particular PowerPoint presentation, I have included first 2 chapters together. Means the first part of this PPT includes reproduction in organisms, and second part of this PPT includes reproduction in plants. Today we are going to study the introductory part of this particular chapter, reproduction in organisms and reproduction in plants. The topic begins with introduction that starts with the term lifespan. It is the period from birth to natural death of an organism. All individuals die. That means no individual is immortal. But for this there is one exception. That exception is unicellular organisms. You must be aware that unicellulars like amoeba, they divide by binary fission. So a single amoeba divides into 2, and these 2 amoebae later grow and divide further. But as the parent amoeba divides and forms 2 daughter amoebae, obviously the parent amoeba, remnants of parent amoeba, they are not seen. I mean, the same cell changes into 2 cells. So you don't get any remnant of the parent amoeba. There is no dead body as such, because of which unicellulars are said to be immortal. The main reason for continuity of life on the earth is obviously reproduction. Reproduction is defined as a biological process in which an organism gives rise to young one of its own kind. We call it like Paget's like, means the newly formed young ones, they resemble those organisms which have taken part in reproduction. The life cycle involves birth of the organism, growth of the organism, the physical growth, mental growth, reproductive growth, which is then followed by senescence. Senescence is aging, and eventually death of the organism. Various organisms, they have different lifespans. There are many examples where the lifespan is extremely short. Insects usually have a very short lifespan, and there are organisms where the lifespan is in several years. For example, tortoise, elephants, they have a very long lifespan. Uh, Plants like banyan tree, it is also a longer lasting plant. The lifespan is very long. Here in this particular diagram, you can see crow and parrot, 2 birds of more or less equal size, but their lifespan is not the same. Where crow survives only for 15 years, parrot can survive for more than 100 years. So it is not like this that similar sized 2 different varieties of organisms have same lifespan. They will have different lifespans. 2 modes of reproduction, you are all aware: sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, where there is involvement of gametes, formation of gametes, fusion of gametes, and asexual reproduction, here there is no involvement of gametes. Let us understand some characteristic features of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is uniparental, means a single parent can carry out this kind of reproduction. The unit of asexual reproduction is propagule, means the part which is involved in asexual reproduction is called propagule. In simple words, propagule is called bud. Propagule is formed from somatic cells. Somatic cells are body cells. Hence, asexual reproduction is also called somatogenic reproduction. In this, there is no formation of gametes, so there is no fusion of gametes. In asexual reproduction, the cells divide by mitosis only. There is no meiosis. Remember one thing, that meiosis is an exclusive cell division which occurs during sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, the newly formed organisms are identical to each other as well as they are identical to their parents. Such identical organisms are called clones because they have a genetic similarity as well with each other. This is a quick method of reproduction, and in this, large number of individuals can be produced in a short span of time. Keeping these points in mind, we can always compare sexual reproduction with asexual reproduction. For example, here it is mentioned that asexual reproduction is uniparental, but sexual reproduction is always biparental because there is involvement of two sexes, male and female. Here in asexual reproduction, the unit is propagule or bud, whereas unit of sexual reproduction is gamete or sex cell. Here propagule or bud is formed from somatic cells. This is called somatogenic reproduction. There in sexual reproduction, the gametes are formed from germ cells. So sexual reproduction is called germinal reproduction. Here there is no involvement of gametes. There gametes are formed. Gametes take part in fertilization and that results in the formation of zygote. Here the cell division is mitosis only. In asexual reproduction there is mitosis as well as meiosis. Remember that organisms are diploid. During sexual reproduction, during gamete formation in animals and spore formation in plants, meiosis takes place. During meiosis, diploid cells give rise to haploid cells. These haploid cells further take part in fertilization. When two haploid cells, that is male gamete and female gamete, combine, it results in the formation of zygote, and zygote is diploid, so diploid number is restored. Here, newly formed in asexual reproduction, newly formed organisms are identical to each other as well as parents, whereas in sexual reproduction, the newly formed organisms are different from each other as well as they are different from their parents. Only identical twins have genetic similarity, otherwise no two individuals which are formed by sexual reproduction are identical. Asexual reproduction is a quick method of reproduction, whereas sexual method of reproduction is a relatively slower method of reproduction. Here a large number of individuals can be produced, whereas in sexual reproduction the number of individuals produced are relatively less in number. So this is a quick comparison between sexual and asexual reproduction. In the next lecture we would be doing the details of modes of asexual reproduction. Thank you.